French Shalom and greetings to you all. I hope you all had a fantastic Rosh Hashanah celebration, the day that initiates the 10 days of awe, the Yamim Noraim. Now, I had a marvelous turnout for my service, and it was great seeing some dear old friends and making some new ones. And we added a few new rituals to help bring home the meanings and the lessons. And friends, there was a lot of lessons surrounding Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And a lot of rabbis know this is their one chance during the year to try and have an impact on a larger group of people. And sometimes they cross lines they might be better not crossing because it sets a bad example. Now, many will talk about Jewish history and how it is full of stories of refugees and immigrants, of people escaping from slavery into freedom. After all, we are the poster child of freedom from slavery. Now, Judaism teaches people to refrain from evil and cruelness and to struggle for the sake of all that is righteous in life. Now, it encourages Jews to work together to repair the world, the tikkun olam that we talk about. And at the same time, another of the great topics that you're going to hear talked about right now emphasized at this time of the year is that from the Jewish perspective, the parent-child relationship is sacrosanct. And it is. There's probably nothing more sacred in Judaism than the parent-child relationship. And at this time of the year, you may see 3 or 4 generations either sitting in the synagogue or gathering during these days and celebrating together. Just think of yours and how hard you work to do everything you can in that family dynamic. Now, unfortunately, I read quite a few commentaries by rabbis, which they were busy making political commentaries about the state of affairs today, referencing border events to these two great topics. There were just too many rabbis included in a group making too many politicized comments. There was too much judging of Jews and non-Jews, when the lesson right now, and really always is, stop judging. Now, even the rabbis need to reread the texts and open their eyes, and maybe the example they should set is show non-judgment. Everyone seems to want to give political commentary today. Do not do it. Stick instead to what you know, my friends. And I know that this is the time of the year when we all gather and come together as a community, a like-minded, like-souled unification of spirit, the collective consciousness of seekers coming together in a showing of faith, of love, of community, a chavura, of fellowship, expressing our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all in our community house of spirit, Beth Ruach. So once again, please do go ahead and invite everybody you know, physically, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov, Hine Matov. Shevet Ahi Yam Yacha, Hine Matov. Shevet Ahi Yam Yacha. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 Together. And as a community, my friends, let us all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the entire world. And now is the time to be a community and continue to show gratitude and give thanks for the things that we have as we ritualize. It's what we do on an ongoing basis. We ritualize when we light our candles, share a cup of wine, a piece of bread. It represents the gifts of life and sustenance and fellowship that we observe daily, but especially every week when we do our Sabbath, remembrance, and observation. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to talk to whoever, whatever it is you happen to believe in. Part of your kavanah, your intention, your personal goodwill. And let's send some of that goodwill out to the universe. Let's invoke healing and renewal for everybody you know, and for the souls and spirits of everybody you know. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the earth, the tikkun olam that's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. For all those poor souls in the path of the hurricanes, for Ben, for Monty, for the bee. And of course, for all of you, in this time of deep introspection, you need renewal too, my friends. It is the kindness, healing wishes, goodwill, and love that we all send out that circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit, and spirit never dies. May the source of strength, who bless the lands before us, help us find the courage, make our lives a blessing, the renewal of the body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed, my friends. This is the time of renewal, because this is the great prayer for healing, in which we call upon God to heal as he has healed before. Misha Baruch, may he who blessed. And during these days of awe, let us all heal as we face the judgment that we ascribe to the heavenly court, which is really the judgment of self. Now, we are in our full review mode now, just a few days from Yom Kippur. The day of lot casting, of atonement, of forgiveness is coming. And with it, the first and for the longest time, the only Yizkor service of the year. Your chance to honor and elevate the spirits and souls of those you lost. Next week, when we observe Yom Kippur, we will take a few moments and do our candle lighting Yizkor service. Remember, friends, the great lesson is in forgiveness. And we all have so much to either forgive or to be forgiven for. And it's the time of the year when we think of things and we say, if only we could have done things differently. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that hurt you, and you'd stay. If I could reach the stars, I'd give them all to you. Then you'd love me like you used to do. If I could turn back time. Now, who here would not love the chance to turn back time? Would you? Now, what better way to bring the Torah to a close than to read another short little parsha with an error and an incredible statement? Now, this week we read Vayalech. Now, you see, Vayalech was really Vayachel. One means and he went, and the other, and he finished. Now, biblical Hebrew, with no vowels, is a very difficult language, as I'm sure you're aware. Moses went nowhere, but he did finish speaking. And friends, both the Septuagint and Qumran text have it right. Ours doesn't. Deuteronomy 31:2. And he said to them, I'm 120 years old today. I'm not able to go out and come in anymore. Well, that alone tells you the real word is finished and not went. Moses can't go anywhere anymore. Now, as I had said, this week's is usually read with last week's, two little short ones, and it contains the actual succession of Joshua from Moses. So he passes the leadership to Joshua. Now note that this is not just that Moses dies and Joshua replaces him. Rather, during his lifetime, publicly, Moses himself identified Joshua as his successor, charges him with the task, and encourages him to be successful. Now Joshua takes that role on. And Moses suggests that the law be read publicly every seventh year. Every 7 years during the Festival of Booths. Now, that was actually instituted in the 5th century before the Common Era, and it formed a reenactment of the hearing of the law at Sinai. And that's what it was designed to do, so that the people could imagine themselves there. And you see, the biblical requirement was to read this Torah. And this Torah meant the law code of Deuteronomy once every 7 years during the sabbatical on the holiday of Sukkot. And that was it. Deuteronomy 31:9, at the end of 7 years, in the set season of the sabbatical year at the Festival of Huts, when all Israel comes to appear before the presence of the Lord, your God, in that place that he chooses, you shall read this teaching before all Israel in their hearing. Assemble the people, the men and the women and the little ones, and your sojourner who is within your gates, so that you may hear, and so that they may learn, and they will fear the Lord your God and keep to do all the words of this teaching. And your children who know will hear and learn to fear the Lord your God all the days that you live on the soil to which you were about to cross the Jordan to take hold of. Now that's actually pretty easy to follow, isn't it? Later Jewish practices became to read the entire Torah of the 5 books once every year or every 3 years, and in weekly portions rather than all at once. But of course, we do it annually. And we are told Moses wrote this teaching, this instruction, which in Hebrew, of course, is a Torah. And that does not refer to the entire 5 books. You see, it's the one scroll. And the instruction that Moses writes here appears to be most of the law code that begins in Deuteronomy 12 and ends at 26:15. And our sages think that it might be understood to include the list of blessings and curses in Deuteronomy 28. Well, of course, to some this is just more fake news. Those who began claiming that Moses was the author of the entire Torah, the 5 books, created much confusion and misinformation by claiming more from Moses than the Torah itself actually ascribed to him. And it became a firmly established doctrine by the rabbinic period. And many of the great teachers, including Rashi and Rambam, followed it. Now, later sages, such as Ibn Ezra, raised subtle doubts about it, and of course scholars like Spinoza openly challenged it. And Jewish as well as Christian scholars came to reject it outright in the 19th and 20th centuries. Orthodox Jews still accept it, and I certainly grew up learning it was all Moses. And I bet that you did too. Then God says something actually quite incredible. He says to Moses, and it's something that's really not talked about much, but which I think says so much about the state of man. Deuteronomy 31:16. And the Lord said to Moses, look, you're about to lie with your fathers, and this people will rise and go whoring after the alien gods of the land into the midst of which they are coming. And they will forsake me and break my covenant that I've sealed with them. And my anger will flare against them on that day, and I shall forsake them and hide my face from them. As for me, I will surely hide my face on that day for all the evil that they have done. Now, the they is us, of course. We now have a divine prediction of Israel's future, leading to the withdrawal of the divine presence. It surely has to be one of the most fascinating, important statements in the entire Torah. So why don't we talk about it? Here's God saying to Moses, the people are going to turn against him, and so he's simply going to hide his face from them. We don't talk about that. I will hide my face. Now, how much faith will you have if the divinity turns from you? How can you tell people God is watching everything, listening to everything, if we see here that God just turns his back on people? I will hide my face. Now, these words come twice in this passage, and it contains the last words that God speaks to Moses before summoning him to die. The hiding of the face of God is understood to be the fate of the entire people, not of individuals. Divine hiddenness is not an individual's unique experience, and it is not based on an individual's behavior. It is the experience of a community and possibly of an era. And for us, it still is such an era. God's face is still hidden from us. We as humans are left not knowing if God exists or not. The Tanakh tells the story of a development from a world of direct communication with God at the beginning to the world we have known ever since, in which the existence of God is a matter of faith or of doubt or of search. Here I stand with head in hand, turn my face to the wall. If she's gone, I can't go on, feeling 2 foot small. Everywhere people stare, each and every day. I can see see them laugh at me, and I hear them say, hey, hey, you've got to hide your love away. Hey, you've got to hide your love away. Well, do not hide your face, your love. Yes, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those that you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free, honor your freedom, be well, be happy, and be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everyone you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone, and end to terror and hatred, my friends. Remember, we are a community. We learn together. We celebrate each other. We love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. So let's send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive and learn to love, including yourself. Open your hearts and honor the relationships of your life. Tell those you love that you love them. Take advantage of the time you have and enjoy the journey. We take the twists and turns and the patterns that weave through the fabric of our lives in our effort to grow, to learn, to be. So please do learn to love. Now bless you all. Have a fantastic week. A week of love and light, a week of peace, a week of miracles. Examine your intentions and use them to imprint your will on life. Remember, we do set in motion all that happens in our lives. Our intention, our kavanah, our cause, our effect, everything is linked. And as I've said, you always have time to forgive and to be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what is good and bad, so acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you may have wronged, and ask forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, accountability, vulnerability, and forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate. Because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance, my friends. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world just as they are? Can you accept life just as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So do not stop your journey. Don't stop moving towards your own promised land, your home. It's there. Keep on dreaming, keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching, keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. And remember to have faith, an unwavering adherence to principle. Just as I have faith in the principle of love in all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind, my friends. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year, and may you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart. Quiet your mind, because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness and the ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Make the most of your time in life. Continue to touch and transform lives around you, because you're never alone. You are forever blessed and have the ability to bring blessings to everybody you meet. Health, love, renewal to everybody you come across. We're all energy, and energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. Your words, my friends, are your power to transform, to love, to bless. So be generous with them. Bless others and bless yourself. Love with the heart. We're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. And continue to explore faith and belief, and do not accept shame as a natural state. Whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too. We share together, we learn together, we help each other. We are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have, or could have, a special someone in our lives, so find them and tell them what they mean. And remember, you're never alone on your journey to the promised land. Watch your words. They can hurt you, they can heal you, they can imprison you, and they can free you. Think about the people you need to forgive and those you need to ask forgiveness of. Think of the regrets you have and what you need to move past them. Who's sorry now? Who's sorry now? Whose heart is aching for breaking each vow? Who's sad and blue? Who's crying too? Just like I cried over you. right to the end. Just like a friend, I tried to warn you somehow. If you had your way, now you must pay. I'm glad that you're sorry now. Now, it's a great old song, but friends, do not be glad. Do not seek retribution. Do not judge. Be happy, be healthy, be helpful, be kind, and be loving. Be accepting and forgiving. You've been inscribed in the Book of Life. Now you're pleading your case to the great court as to why you should be sealed within it. And join us in a few days for our Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement service. Remember, I am thinking of you. Ketiva v'chatima tova. May you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. And I know that you all are. So Shabbat Shalom and blessings to you all. And this is your year, America. And we'll see you all again pretty soon. Take care. Bye.